Fuji versus Polaroid. Which one is actually better though? Is there a reigning king over the two types? Let's find out.
You know the type of guy that was a jock in high school but ended up becoming a huge nerd? You know, someone that's not afraid to make a fool of themselves on the internet. And someone that likes to shoot Polaroid a little too much. Did I say huge nerd? You know, just an ordinary, everyday guy. Well, that's me. I'm just another Chris.
So yeah, Polaroid versus Instax. I get this comment and question and message all the time. All the time. Which one's better? Which one should I buy? It's not that easy of a question to actually answer though. So I'm gonna do my best to break it down and hopefully this can help you decide which one is better or best for you. Fuji Instax. This is a Fuji Instax Square, the SQ6. Review on this coming soon, so stay tuned. But we're not talking about that right now. Fuji currently offers 3 film types for you to choose from. You got the Instax mini film, then you got the square film, which this camera shoots, and then you have the wide film. Wide film. It was just shot vertically. Polaroid. This is an SX70 camera. Polaroid comes in a lot of different shapes and sizes and appearances because they've been around a lot longer. Polaroid does offer a few different film types. SX70 film, that's what this guy uses. 600 film, which is used in Polaroid 600 cameras. And Polaroid I-type film. This is used in modern day Polaroid cameras. The only difference between the I-type film and the 600 film is that there's no battery inside the cartridge. Modern day Polaroid cameras power themselves, so there's no need to have batteries in the cartridges like back in the day. And here's the film size for all the ones I just showed you, but Polaroid does offer one more type of film. That's Polaroid Go film. Yeah, look at that little guy. Big difference, but smaller size. Polaroid cameras have been around for a very, very long time. They go all the way back to the 1970s. Fuji Instax made their first appearance, I believe, in the late 90s. So the camera selection for Instax is actually very low. There's really not many options out there for you to buy cameras. The most popular one being the Instax mini camera, and that's, you know, they've made many variants and versions of those, but ultimately they are exactly the same. Minor tweaks, minor differences. But there are some third-party camera companies out there that do make cameras that utilize their film, like Lomography, Mint, just to name a few. The film for the Fuji cameras, they are readily available. You can pick this stuff up pretty much anywhere, and it is cheaper than Polaroid. Polaroid film, it's a little harder to come by. I'm noticing, especially in my area, it might be a little bit different for you, but I usually go to Target and Best Buy to pick up my film locally if I don't order directly from Polaroid. You are going to notice a heftier price tag on the Polaroid film, as well as fewer exposures per pack. As much as I love Polaroid, but it is tough. It's tough on my wallet. You only get 8 photos and you're gonna spend about $20 per pack. I know I-type film is a little bit cheaper. You pick it up for about $18, $19. 600 film is 20 bucks. SX70 film I think is right around that price as well. The Go film though, however, is $20, but you do get 2 packs in each box. So with a total of 16 photos. Instax film, this is some special frame editions, but Instax films do come in double packs of film. And if you go to Walmart and pick it up, I don't know how Walmart does this, but they do. It'll only run you about $13 to $14 for 20 photos. Much better deal. But you have to like shooting this size. And me personally, I'm not a big fan of this size. Square and wide film is where I tend to go when I want to shoot Instax film. Prices for both of these are relatively the same. You can pick up a 20 pack of wide film for right around $20 and same price for square. Now, briefly talking about Polaroid cameras, there's tons and tons of cameras out there that you can choose from just because they've been around for so long, and some of them even having glass lenses so you can get beautiful, sharp pictures. Some are even SLRs like this one. You can look right through the lens and know exactly what you're framing up. Some of them have autofocus, manual focus. You can control things a little bit better with Polaroid cameras than you can with Instax. But you do tend to pay a little bit more of a premium for those features. If you want something a little bit more professional, people tend to go with Polaroid cameras. But that doesn't mean you can't get good images from an Instax camera, because you totally can. Instax really is great for people that are hobbyists or just enthusiasts of the instant photography world. much cheaper cameras, much cheaper film. And then on the other side of that coin, which would be Polaroid, you do pay a lot more and you get less, unfortunately. Now let's get into some nitty gritty stuff. All right, between these two, yes, I know this is black and white, but this is the only boxed square film I have currently. Polaroid film is known to have the need to be babysat a little bit. They're not as bad as it used to be, because the quick backstory of Polaroid history, if you will, they went bankrupt and shut down. Then the Impossible Project started, which they bought and salvaged and saved a factory in the Netherlands that was able to produce Polaroid film. They bought that and continued to produce film. However, they had to figure out the formula and all that stuff on their own. And then eventually they were able to purchase the Polaroid name and have the company come back. But the formula of the original Polaroid film, unfortunately, lost in time. It can no longer be made for a lot of reasons that maybe I can make another video about. So when film started being reproduced by the Impossible Project, it needed heavy babysitting, and it really wasn't that good. And then over the years, it's gotten better and better and better. Nowadays, it's pretty solid. You get some pretty dang good photos. It's not like how it used to be, unfortunately, and I know a lot of purist people will always say this stuff sucks. If you compare it to the original, it probably does. But you still have to babysit Polaroid film. Polaroid film, if you're shooting it in higher temperatures, heat and humidity, things like that, it can alter the development of your photo, so you can get weird color shifts, tones in your images. So you need to be shooting it in the right temperature. I've even done videos on that. I'll leave some links in the description below on how to compensate for the temperature outside. And it tends to go bad after a couple of years or so, and I definitely do videos annually, all the time actually, on testing expired film. I love shooting expired film just to see what happens. It's never what you're gonna get. Things are gonna change. Sometimes it makes it good, sometimes it comes out bad. But there is a little bit about Polaroid film that you do have to baby. Instax film, however, it just works. It just works. I've shot some pretty expired film, like 5 years, 6 years expired film that wasn't even stored in its box, and the wrapper that it comes in, was just left out for years. And I've shot it and it was beautiful. My personal theory is just because the film itself is packaged a little bit differently. There's a little bit more plastic in Instax film that I think it helps seals up better and doesn't allow much moisture and things from getting inside to make it go bad. Polaroid uses a little bit more of a paper, cardboard, plastic hybrid mix. I don't know what you want to call it. So I think that just allows extra moisture and things in there to cause it to dry out or go bad. I mean, that's just my personal theory, so just take that with a grain of salt. Now, if you don't plan on shooting your film right away, you throw it in a fridge, they say. But Polaroid film has gotten really, really good, and I haven't had much issues without fridging it, but I still do it, and it depends on where you live. If you live in Florida or in Texas or something, or another part of the world that's, you know, high temperature and high humidity, yeah, you're definitely going to keep it in a fridge. And I would definitely still do that with Instax film. But where I live, which is the Pacific Northwest, I don't really have that issue, so I can get away with not really storing it properly. But film storage is a big deal to a lot of people. I know some people are very anal about that, so that is something you do have to take into more consideration on the Polaroid side rather than the Instax side, in my personal experience. Now, you would think when you hear the phrase instant photography or an instant camera, like a Polaroid camera or an Instax camera, that your photos would come out instantly. Yes, that is true, but yet it's also false at the same time. More so on the Polaroid side. You take an Instax photo and you could start to see your image relatively clear within the first 30 seconds, maybe even 20 seconds later, you can start to see your image. You can have your whole image come out within about a minute or two tops. Again, that's not so instant. It's still a couple minutes later and you have your picture. Still pretty good though. Polaroid, on the other hand, you'll start to be able to see your image after a couple of minutes. And then a full picture will not develop probably until, I don't know, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Worth noting for sure. So which one is better? That's the whole thing that we're talking about. This whole discussion that I'm just dumping information onto your plate. Which one's actually better? Well, there is no answer. There is no true answer to this question. And I know this is probably a big letdown for you because you're here to learn about which one's better. I'm gonna make the best buying decision. There isn't one. You're literally comparing apples to oranges. The formulas are different, the cameras are different. Polaroid just has a vast selection of really nice high-end cameras, as well as boxy cameras and I-type cameras. There's for every one Instax camera, there's gonna be 10 Polaroid cameras. And don't quote me on those statistics, but that's just what I'm going with. So unfortunately, this question is really up to you. Which one is best for you? Taking the information that I just told you about, it comes down to you, your preference. I wish I had an answer. I wish there was one that's better, because honestly, there really isn't. I personally like shooting Polaroid more so than Instax. So hopefully this video has helped you somewhat. Leave some comments down below if you have any more questions. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Now, get out there, make some art.